Hey guys, at the end of July, I took a 2-week vacation and I have not done this. Like, I can't even think of the last time I took a 2-week vacation. And I had planned this because we had a wedding in a very tiny island called Lipsy in the Greek Isles. And so it was going to take some time to get all the way over there and then to get back again. So we kind of planned this entire trip where we ended up hitting 4 different Greek islands and ended up in a couple of days in London because that was our pass through, and then home again. And we took 2 of our kids. Our oldest daughter was in school, so she didn't come with us. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things I decided to do on this trip that I have never done before. And the first thing I just want to tell you about this trip was that my number one goal was to get rested and renewed. Why was that so important to me? I had seen in previous vacations, whether they were short, small, a weekend vacation, that when I would take the time off to actually rest and enjoy my life and be really present, which sometimes is very hard for me. I tend to be very futuristic thinking. So that means I'm planning a lot and doing lots of, figuring out how things should go, building the vision for my company and for my designs. I tend to be very future thinking, so being in the present is sometimes very difficult for me. And when I would take time to just really be fully in the present, especially like on a weekend vacation, I would come back to work and be more excited, more vision, more ability to plan and give my design business what it needed, and more excited and more ideas. That was the biggest thing, more ideas. Because as a designer, especially if you've been doing it for a while, I've been in this for 15 and a half years. What happens is there are points in your business, and some of you haven't hit it yet, but I promise you'll hit it, where you get bored, you get a little tired, and you're not sure what will excite you to design again. There is it's so fascinating. I remember hitting, the first 1,000 products and then the 5,000 products. And it was like I had made everything there could be made. I was so incredibly bored. I was like, what new thing can I come up with, right? And so you have to do things to renew and re-energize so that you have new ideas. So one of the number one things I noticed when I would take these weekend breaks, because if any of you know me in real life, I work throughout the weekend as well. So I don't take a ton of breaks because I'm just so excited by my design work and by my company and what we're doing. And so when I would take these breaks, I would come back with more ideas, more excitement, more cool things that we could do in our business. So I took this 2-week vacation, and the number one thing I decided to do is, even though I was going to take my laptop, I was not going to check my email every day. That's one thing that I've always done on every vacation, is I check my email every day and just kind of clean it out, make sure that there's nothing going on, that I'm taking care of any customer service that needs to happen. And I just told myself, nope, I'm going to really, really unwind and relax. Because you guys know how it is. Like, you'll get in your email and there will be an email there that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to take care of this now, or I have to pay this now. And I will say, on this particular trip, we had ordered brand new handbooks for Design Suite. And so I knew in the back of my head I needed to do a proofread of the handbooks, and I also needed to pay the invoice, and I needed to set up the shipping. So there were some things that needed to happen, but that was the only thing I was going to allow myself to really do on this trip. And then so a couple of days into this trip, I did check my email. I went through it. There was nothing crazy there. And so I stepped away from it. And then by the end of the first week, I checked it one more time. And I had taken care of the few things that needed to be taken care of. I probably spent in total 3 hours on the first week of this Greek vacation in email, just kind of sorting through things and making sure that my team was okay. But that was it. The second week, I maybe spent 15 minutes. And you guys have heard me talk about going from work mode to vacation mode and back again in previous episodes. It is tough for me to kind of make some of those transitions. But once I was in it, oh man, I was in it. And all I could do was photograph all of these great tiles that I was seeing, getting really excited about, prints that I was seeing, the way people were laying things out, the colors they were using, and photographing and videoing those. So essentially what I was doing was still work. At the end of the day, as a creative, what we're doing is still work, but it was the kind of work that allowed me to open my brain up to possibilities, to new ideas, to new exciting designs, and it filled me up. And I think that's the thing I want to tell you. If you are a little bit of a workaholic like me, or you've been so busy in trying to get this design business going and it's feeling really, really hard, which guys, it does. In the first 3 years, a design business feels very, very hard. And I think if you just accept that, then you'll also allow yourself the break necessary to get to the next level. Because you do need breaks. You do need to renew and re-energize. You do need new good ideas. And you are going to see in year 2, those of you who have been in this for a little while, in year 2, this feeling of, oh my gosh, what do I design next? I'm so bored of designing dinosaurs, or I'm so bored of designing whatever it is. And you're going to want to quit, or you're going to want to, if you're one of my designers, scattered, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to shift and go do something else over here because I know how to do it, because Carina's taught me how to do it, instead of staying and sticking to the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Go out of your way to find even little breaks. I will say, even though I took this big 2-week break, which I rarely ever do, that in my daily life, I have certain breaks throughout the day that I do with my kids, my husband, and where I'm hanging out and renewing and energizing that way. So I think the little breaks are important, but this is the first time I took a really big break. And I will say by the end of the 2 weeks, and it was literally exactly 2 weeks, it was 14 days, the Monday that we came home, I'd given myself the next day to kind of sort through, make sure that I was good on everything. And I woke up excited and ready to work. And that's how I knew that the vacation had done what it needed to do for me, which was give me good ideas, which I had a ton of really good ideas, got me excited and trying to plan out time periods for me to work on things like a fabric collection and some new SVG files and maybe some printables and maybe some new wallpapers. It got me really excited for being able to work on some new things. And I know it's not in everybody's timeline to have 2 weeks off vacation. I feel really grateful and very lucky that I was able to do that. But I also want you to know that 15 and a half years in of this business, and I think I've only ever taken a 2-week vacation one other time. So timeline wise, you guys, just from perspective on it, if it hasn't happened for you now, that's okay. Plan for it in the future. I used to think 2 weeks was way too much time. But after this, I think I will be planning more 2-week vacations into my life because it was really renewing and re-energizing for me. All right, you guys, I hope that you are doing well and that you are also finding ways to renew in your own design businesses so that you can get going and doing amazing, amazing things. If you are on the podcast, if you don't mind leaving me a review, I would appreciate it so much. It's just very easy to do. Just I know on iTunes, not iTunes, but on the podcast app, if you just scroll down, you can throw in a little one-liner like that you like the podcast very, very easily, okay? And if you're on the YouTube channel, if you don't mind subscribing, we are working on our YouTube numbers and would love, love, love to have you here, especially as we come out with new stuff. And we do have so many cool new things planned in the next several months, but definitely in the next several years, and we don't want you to miss it. All right, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys soon.